Hey everybody, it's Wednesday, June 16th. Happy Pride Month yet again. Well, not yet again, it's not like it's swung around a year, it's been a week. But yeah, it's a Wednesday that I'm posting for a change. I think last week I posted on a Thursday because I'm an idiot. But yeah, I didn't really have a topic. Oh, by the way, new shirt for the week is well, not a new shirt. I bought this a week ago. A week ago? Nope. I think I bought this actually 3 years ago. I think I bought a bunch of shirts. Anyways, it's the first time wearing it where it doesn't feel like it's going to pop off my torso because I'm down to 223 right now and I weighed 238 on April 26th. So, still losing weight, which is good. But obviously it's got the woman symbol, men symbol, and then it's got the purple in the middle. So, obviously I like women, men, and everything in between. But yeah, so I really like this shirt because it is, the pride flag, or is the bi pride flag colors. I am sorry, I'm not I'm A game so far in the first minute of the video, but it's a bright. One of these days I'll learn English. It's the bi pride flag colors intertwined in the symbols. Anyways, so I know last week I got kind of heated on the topic of bisexuality. I think the previous week I talked a bit about it as well. I really don't know what I've covered. I don't rewatch my videos, and I don't pre-plan the videos. I just wing them. So I don't know what I've talked about because I typically don't rewatch the videos, and I don't jot down okay, here's what I talked about, so I don't talk about it again. So I might re-talk about stuff that I've already talked about. I might not. Who knows? But in keeping with the theme for this month, I'm going to keep talking about LGBTQ plus issues. And I think that this video, because I haven't covered all the issues of bisexuality that I wanted to, but I'm pretty sure that I've covered the majority of what I wanted to cover. I think that, because I have another shirt that I'm going to wear next week that I should have just worn it today. Because it's fitting. Well, I'll wear it next week and I'll explain my feelings behind the shirt at this point. I bought it a couple years ago, and the shirt says, "When you play for both teams, you always win." I thought it was cute at the time. It was clever because basically it means when you like men and you like women, you can't lose. Except that being bi has been a struggle my whole life because men typically don't, or you like women, that's gross, but they're men, so they're but cool, you have guy parts, we're on board. But girls / women have not, I just mean girls / women being when I was 18, 19 years old, I wasn't dating women because I was 18, 19 years old. It was, I still called them girls back then because it's not, I wouldn't call an 18-year-old a woman. It just doesn't sound right. Anyways, but I'm getting off the track. I'm getting off the point of what I'm trying to say. The point of it being that girls tend to see me at least in my experience, my personal experience, tend to see me and say, or they'll ask, have you been with a guy before? And I'm like, yeah. And they're well, what position were you? I'm well, that's too personal. But then they'll be well, I just need to know so I know if I can date you or not. What would that have to do with anything? I'm still a person, I'm still a human being, I'm still a guy, what's your point? I'm not with them anymore, so what's your point? I'm still single, I'm single, I'm ready to be with someone, what's your point? So basically they judge what the future could be based on what my past was, and it's annoying that my past dictates what the future can be, because I'd really like for whoever is meeting me, whoever wants to be in the future with me, to just see me for who I am right now. for 29-year-old me, because 29-year-old me does not know who 28-year-old me was. 28-year-old me didn't know who 27-year-old me. 27-year-old me doesn't know who anybody in the past was, because anybody who was in the past before that was abusive to himself. Talking about myself, but like talking about myself in the past tense. Like, 27-year-old me did not know in the past, the person that I was, because I was abusive to myself. I was abusive to others to an extent, like not physically, but like I just wouldn't care for others as much as I thought I did. Like I would like say things like, "Oh, you can talk to me whenever you want," but then the second they started talking to me, I'd flip it and start talking about myself and be not self-centered, but like I was just kind of messed up. Alcoholic. I just didn't care about myself. It wasn't a good setup, and I was just skin and bones for a while. I weighed 150 at 6'1", which doesn't sound too skinny, but like I said, it doesn't sound too skinny, because I know there's plenty of people out there that are that height and way skinnier. But for my for where I was in life, it was just wasn't good, because all I was doing was just drinking. There wasn't a whole lot of food involved. Because when I was at work, I was maybe having like one of those like mini DiGiorno pizzas, like something like that, or I'd have like a Lunchable, but then I would go home and I would just pound back like a 24-pack of beer. Like it was just like the ratio of food to liquid just didn't make sense. Because I'd have like 5 ounces of food, and then I'd have oh god, I can't even do that math. And then I'd go home and have 12 times 24. I'd have 288 ounces of beer. So, oh god, that's disgusting. God, how much is that in pounds? Sorry for the people that are watching this overseas that are like, pounds? What the fuck are pounds? We're one of the 3 stupid ass countries that uses imperial instead of metric. That's 18 pounds of beer. That is absolutely absurd. Well, I'm sorry, 18 fluid pounds of beer, whatever. But that's unbelievable. But I'd go home and drink that at night, or a day, really, because I was working overnights for a while at Walgreens. So I would go home at 9 a.m., get home at like 10 a.m., change, shower, drink, pass out, go wake up to go to work, drive 35 minutes in pitch black dark, and get to work, be groggy, pound back 2 20-ounce Mountain Dews, and then go back to work again. I just didn't care about myself. But I got way off the track there. I don't know how I got there. So I was saying, like, past me just didn't know myself. So I really wish that girls would see me for like who I am today, and not dictate who I am by my past, but not also dictate by my sexual orientation, because above all they're dictating me by my sexual orientation. They're saying, well, because you've been with guys, I can't be with you because you've been with guys. Like that's been, I'd say 9 times out of 10, that's their sole reason they say they can't be with me. And that's annoying, because I'm like, but why? Like it has nothing. Sorry, I gotta shut my phone off for a second, or at least pull up that. I'm like, what? But why? Like that's not. It has nothing to do with who I am as a person, who I am with my personality. Like that has nothing to do with what we could be in the future, because you're just holding me to who I am. You're holding me to what my shell is. Like that's not who I am. That's what I am, but that's not who I am. Like who I am is far beneath that. Like not far beneath it. It's just beneath that, because the surface is like, yes, I'm able to be attracted to both sexes, but beyond that, there's so much more. I'm still. My name is Alex. I still love to cook. I love to play golf. I love the White Sox. Like I love all these things. But if you just see me as, well, you're bi, though, if you're not willing to look past that to just the basic, like, what is your favorite food? What is your favorite movie? What is, just asking questions like a normal, like if you're just going on a date with a straight person, you're not focusing on the right, the right things. And that's what really gets to me, is just like, just focus on the person and just ignore the sexual orientation. Just not ignore it. I mean, it's still part of who they are, but just ask them questions about it without being a dick. That's what I'm trying to get at. You know, like, oh, how did you know? Like, you know, what was your experience like? You know, ask them questions about it. That's not like, well, like, did you fuck the dudes or did the dudes fuck you? Like, you know, that's not cool. Like, that's not cool to do. Like, that's, you know, and especially if that's going to be your reason for not seeing what an amazing, inspiring, whatever person they could be, or generous person they could be, or funny person they could be, or whatever. Because actually, in just 2.5 hours, literally, I'm looking at my clock, in 2.5 hours from this exact moment that I'm making, like this exact moment, because it is 4:15 p.m. At 6:45 p.m. I'm logging onto my computer, and I have a Zoom virtual date, a Zoom virtual first date with a girl that I met on Bumble, which is I'm not like trying to plug this or anything like that, but it's a dating app, and well, you can meet friends on there too. But it's like Tinder, but if you match with a girl, if a guy matches with a girl, the girl has to message the guy first, and this girl messaged me first, and we hit it off, and we're doing a virtual date before we do a real date because of, you know, everything that's going on, and, you know, we're still living in a crazy world, and we both want to be safe, and we're just doing this, you know, a safe way, the safe, most normal way we can think with everything that's going on. And I'm super excited, but also super nervous because it's been a super long time since I've been on a date with a girl. I think it's been like 6 years. I don't know if I told her that, but if she watches this video before she logs on with me tonight, she'll know now. I see how I'm like starting to like really fumble my words. Like, I'm really nervous about tonight, but I'm also really excited because she's really sweet. Yeah, it's I'm excited. I'm nervous, but it's nice, because I think I put like one of my first lines in my profile is, you know, I'm bi, because I just want to get that out of the way, because I think in the past I haven't put that in the profile, and I don't think there's a section on Bumble to put your sexual orientation, and it's gotten to the point where, like, after like a month of talking to a girl, I'm like, oh, by the way, I don't know if it's said in my profile or whatever, but I'm bisexual, and they're just like, oh, okay, sorry, bye. And I'm like, wait, what? And they're like, yeah, I don't want to date a bisexual person. I'm like, but why? Like, we hit it off this whole past month, and now that you know my sexual orientation, you're just like, bye-bye. Like, that has, you like the person you were talking to for the past month. So why? Like, you know, like, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, people can't see past the sexual orientation sometimes, and it hurts people, because I've talked to a couple of girls since, you know, 6 years ago or whatever, that have not known that I was bisexual, not on purpose. Like, I didn't do it on purpose. It's because I was on dating apps that, for some reason, I just didn't realize that the sexual orientation part wasn't on the app, like set up as on the app or whatever, or it wasn't in my profile, or they didn't read it, or whatever the reason was. And I told them after like a month or whatever, and then they turned and were like, oh yeah, no, it's not healthy for me to be in a relationship with a bisexual man. And I'm like, but you liked talking to me for the past month, so what changed? And it's like, because you're bisexual. And I'm like, so you're really just discriminating against me because I'm bisexual. And that's really what annoys me the most, is just that, you know, you could like the person for all they are, and just, you know, hey, you like guys too? Sorry, can't deal. And, like, I get that for some people it's just really hard to grasp, or it's really hard to just get around, or whatever, but just try to talk it through. You know, try to work through those issues if you really like the person. Don't just give up right away. Don't be like, oh, white flag, I'm out. You know, if you really like the person, try to work through it. Like, you know, I just really feel strongly about this, because it's from personal experience. It's from watching other people go through this. It's from just a lot of rejection, but, you know, but I'm optimistic. You know, like I said I think it was just last week or the week before, I was like, you know, I'm optimistic. I said I'm not looking, you know, I'm not actively going to be like desperately looking for love, but I'm hoping I can find it at some point. And, you know, like I said, you know, this girl matched with me and messaged me and was like, hey, so I want to talk, and we've been talking for almost a month now, and we're going on this virtual date tonight, and we'll see. But I'm optimistic. It's not like I don't have a pessimistic approach to everything where I'm just like, well, everything's doomed because everybody runs away. Not a chance. That's not how I think at all. It's just that I wish that more people, in general, not just me specifically, just in general, could see past the sexual orientation and see people for people and not the sexual orientation. And that goes for bi, gays, I don't know why I'm blanking on all the other ones. Lesbian, transgender, asexual, pansexual, demisexual. Holy crap, there's a lot. Queer. I mean, there's like 90 different sexual orientations now, where there used to be like 4. Because there's different spectrums of the there's just different spectrums of sexual orientation now that people fall under, and for some people to be like, well, now it's going too far because now you can just like make up anything and call yourself that. That's not the case. It's what these people truly are inside. It's just that we're finding that there's new variants of how people's minds are built, because this is how people are born. And if you do not fucking turn this video off if you don't believe that people are born this way, because I will not settle for somebody telling me or commenting like, well, no, it's your sexual preference, it's not your sexual orientation. Like, no, it's your orientation, it's how you were built, it's how your body was wired, it's how your mind was wired. Just shut the fuck up. Like, I don't want to hear like, well, it's how you chose to live. You think we chose to be discriminated against? You think I chose to have women reject me all the time? Nuh-uh. This is how I was born. I knew at 6 years old. Do you think at 6 years old somebody taught me to like guys? Like, that would be creepy. Like, you think that somebody taught me to like, at 6 years old, let's say that so I don't get flagged or reported or something like that. At 6 years old, do you think that somebody taught me to like 6-year-old boys? That would be super, super creepy. So yeah, no, that did not happen. I was wired that way. But it's super, I knew when I was 6 years old that, when I had sleepovers and, I wanted to like cuddle with the boys in the sleepovers. But then like I'd have sleepovers with girls, like, as well, like guys and girls, whatever. We'd have like guys and girls, and I wanted to cuddle with all of them. It was one of those things where I just knew when I was younger that, something was up, but I didn't know what. Like, I just knew that something was going on in my brain, but I didn't know what it was, because it was not informed of what that was going on in my brain. And when I started to learn and was starting to get better informed, and then once high school came around, I was like, oh, I know what it is, but I don't know how to say it because I see all this hate just floating around the world, and I don't want to be a part of that hate. I don't want to be a part of this bullying. I don't want to be part of the, the massive, heightened, pardon the negativity here, and trigger warning, just real quick, because I'm going to say a word that, might trigger some people, so I'm just throwing a trigger warning across this, because I'm going to say a couple words that people are not going to like, but I'm trying to explain, how I came about here. But like, I knew that my body was wired a certain way, my mind was wired a certain way, but I didn't want to be part of the hate. I didn't want to be a part of the alarming suicide rate amongst LGBTQ plus community members. I just did not want to be a part of the teenage suicide rate. I didn't know if I had finally said it, if the bullying would get so bad that I would be a statistic. I was scared, and I was ashamed, and I didn't know how to be my true, authentic self. And I know those words are used so often that it almost sounds cliche at this point to say my true, authentic self, but it's so true at this point in time in 2021 that all of us, all the LGBTQ plus members, we all need to be our true, authentic selves, and at least the ones that are old enough to realize that we can be role models for the younger generation, that we can be who we are without fear of being bullied in the schools, without fear of being traumatized at home, without fear of being just destroyed by our peers, by our coworkers. We all need to take a stand together and we need to be able to help the younger generation, the kids that we were afraid to be, the kids that we were afraid to come out of the closet in high school and in middle school and elementary school, those kids that we were trying not to be because we were afraid to show our true selves, because we didn't know what we were, or we did know what we were, but we didn't want to experience the bullying, or we were already being bullied for who they thought we were, or they knew who we were. Just that kind of experience that we went through, we don't want them to go through it. But we also don't want them to hurt as much as they still are. Because the younger generation coming up, we still see that suicide rate up. We still see, it's down from where it was in the past, but it's still up. It's still way higher than it should be. Because kids are still made to feel ashamed of who they are. They're still bullied in schools for being just who they are. And we as a community can use platforms like YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, what have you, to make a stand and make it known that we can be ourselves, and that kids growing up can live a life eventually that is not filled with fear. But also that there are people out there that they can watch on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram, wherever, that can show you that life does get better. That life is worth living, that love is out there in the long run. That all the pain, all the heartache, all the bullying is worth it in the end. That even though you're going to cry a lot of tears, that you're going to take a lot of punches, that in the end, there's a lot to live for. And, we've got to reach out and just do as much as we possibly can to help those kids that are still being bullied in schools to stop the bullying. Obviously, I don't mean you're going to take the punches, like literally take punches, like we don't want that to happen. I mean take the punches meaning your mind is going to play tricks on you your whole life. Unless you're one of the lucky few who just has whose mind is just completely wired completely correctly, and you just know like that you're different, but you're proud of it from day one that you figure it out. But for a lot of kids, it's just not that simple. I was one of those kids. It was not that simple. It took me 12 years from day one to figure it out, or not to figure it out, to come out. And even since then, it took me probably another 7 years to be comfortable with it. So it took me about 19 years to fully accept who I was. Not fully accept, but just fully be proud of who I am. To get this massive flag in my room to, proudly display it, so that anybody who comes in my room, which hasn't happened since this flag has been up, because nobody likes coming here because of my mom. But it's we really, there are a lot of people out there in the community that do help kids, like the younger generation growing up. But we gotta do more. Like, it can't just be like, well, look at me, I'm a millionaire and I own 5 houses and blah blah. It's not about wealth. It's not about fortune. It's not about fame. It's not about getting careers in millionaire jobs. It's not about doing that stuff. Like, don't tell kids that just try to get lucky and you can have millions of dollars like I did. Like, just tell kids, if you're your true authentic self, like, you can't be your true authentic self without fear. Like, I don't even know how to say this. Like, it's just I just really wish that kids could be their true authentic selves without being bullied every day, because it's really sad. But we just really need to do what we can to help kids not fear just living every day, because that's the saddest truth of it all, is that kids are just waking up every day, sometimes wishing they hadn't, and that is really, really sad. So as a whole community, we have to step up all together. And my little channel here, I am doing what I can to spread awareness on mental health issues, on LGBTQ issues. You know, obviously I shouldn't just be talking about them during Pride Month, I should be talking about them all year, because they are issues that go on all year, not just in June. Obviously they go on 365, or 24/7, 365. But yeah, it is. It's rough. It's rough, but we're gonna get through it. Everybody's gonna get through it. Well, unfortunately, not everybody's gonna get through it, but you know, that's what we need to try to change. We need to try to be better people, better role models for the younger generation growing up, so that they have a better future. So we just keep creating better futures for the younger generation. Because the older generation, that's what I wanted to talk about. Damn it, that's going to be next week's video. Next week's video to close out, because I think that's going to be my last video for Pride Month. No, the week after that is going to be. But anyways, next week I'm going to be making, so I'm going to end this video. Next week I'm going to be talking about the older generation, the generation before us, generations before us, who kind of paved the way for us to be who we are, who we want to be right now. It's kind of, you know, the building blocks to being able to have our Pride Parade. You know, we wouldn't be able to do that, you know, 40 years ago, 50 years ago. So I really want to talk about that. I'm actually really excited to talk about that. That video is going to be not all smiles, because obviously it was a rough road how they got to, you know, got us to here. But I have a lot of thoughts on that, especially how the older generation is treated. I really hate how the younger generation treats the older generation, like of gays, lesbians, you know, bisexuals, transgender. I really don't like it. Unless they're a celebrity, you know, people are just really mistreated. So I'm going to dive really deep into that next week. But I will try to make it a shorter video, so I'm not, you know, making people, you know, cut out a huge chunk of their day to watch my video. But I'm grateful for everybody that does watch these videos, truly. I know that I run them over a little bit each time. I say I'm going to stick to 20 minutes, and it's like 30 minutes every time. But I'm passionate about it, so I'm not going to apologize for that part. But truly grateful for everybody that does watch. Sorry about that. A little tired today. But yeah, everybody have a great week coming up, a great weekend coming up. I don't have to get ready for my date. It's in my room. But I did to clear off my desk because it's covered with all the stuff in my bathroom, because my bathroom still needs to be drywalled because I have no sink in it right now, because the wall's all chewed up from plumbing work that was done a week and a half ago. So yeah, I'm gonna clean up my desk, get it cleaned up, get some dinner done in a bit, and yeah, get ready for my date, and just gotta change my shirt so it'll look a little nicer. Yeah, I'm excited. A little excited. But yeah, everybody keep fighting on, keep going on, keep living on, keep laughing on. And I know it's hard to laugh sometimes, but I will make you a deal that the next two videos will be Pride Month material, and then July 7th I will come up with some funny story to tell. I know of 1,000 million of them, so I will come up with a funny story to tell. So July 7th, mark your calendars, I will come up with a funny story. We will have some laughs. You know me. You know me. Whenever I tell a funny story, I wind up laughing at myself the whole time. So it'll be a funny story. I'll think about one, or I'll think of one. But yeah, everybody have a great week, and I'll see everybody next week, June 23rd, which is 2 days after my sobriety, and well, not sobriety anniversary, but it's like, you know, the 21st every month is like the month, which will be, let's see, that's 48, 51 months, I believe. Yeah, well, it'll be 4 years, 3 months, so 51 months. Wow, that's nuts. Well, I think it's 1,500. 1,548 days sober today. Ooh, let's end this with a sobriety quote. I haven't done that in a while. I really haven't been sticking to my. I haven't done a pledge in a while. Victory is always possible for the person who refuses to stop fighting. I like that one. Let's leave it on that one. That one's good. Victory is always possible for the person who refuses to stop fighting. That is perfect for Pride Month. Keep fighting on, people. See you next week.